Lavonne Nicholos. I am from the Jersey area, but I say the Jersey, South Jersey, Philly area, and I use my voice to elevate and amplify issues and elevate people and really make sure that they are living their best life. And so I do that by using my voice. And so I sing. I'm a recording artist. I am an author, a life coach, and I focus on women's empowerment and trauma recovery. And because of my platform and the things that I've been able to do, God has allowed me to use advocacy as a tool to empower people. And so I have brought all of that together into a company called Say Something Good. And so that is what I do. I say something good. I sing something good. I always try to be intentional about what I'm saying. I'm not perfect. I never want to say that I'm perfect, but I am very intentional in making sure I speak life.
No, that is beautiful because words have power.
Yes, they do.
And I realized that as in my journey through my own life, and affirmations is real. Mm-hmm. And I do think it's something that we need to be conscious of because far too often, especially in these platforms of social media, we are tearing each other down with our words. Mm-hmm. You know, we're using words and we're really condemning folks.
Yeah.
So with that being said, can you go into a little bit more detail about why is the words so important and
like just you said, words are powerful, and I know the power of words. Everyone can think about something that was said to them that really just set them off for the day. Like they just felt so empowered. Like I can do this. I can, get to this next level. That was just what I needed. And then we've also been in those situations where someone said something to you and it tore you down,
right,
and it made you rethink your life. I've had, in grade school, a counselor who said something to me that stayed with me, but in a negative way. It was kind of like you're only good enough to go to a community college. And because of that negative thing, I spent that thing around. And I was like, I'm going to go get my master's. I'm going to go get my doctorate. I'm on my way because of that. So I was able to turn that around. But a lot of people don't have that.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that the things that are coming out of my mouth, the things that people see is going to be uplifting because words can change. The environment can change how somebody sees themselves. So we have to be very protective of it. So that's why affirmations and being positive is so important.
No, absolutely. And I'm grateful that you touched on that because when we grew up, a lot of us grew up with the sticks and stone hurt your bones. Words don't never hurt.
They do.
But as an adult, we realize that's not true.
Right.
And I'm so thankful that you are being transparent and vulnerable in this showing that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your upbringing. What was your upbringing like?
So I grew up in what you would call a 2-parent household with the dog and the white picket fence. It was a complete family, but we were, we enjoyed each other, but there was a lot of things going on because my father was sick. And so I learned a lot from being a caretaker at a very young age, but he also taught me how to sing, and he gave me the gift of singing in my faith. My parents, made sure that our faith is what kept us together, is what kept me as, an adult. So I grew up in a mother and father household with my brother, Timothy. But, we had challenges like everyone else.
So faith is very important to you.
Extremely. Extremely.
Right. With that being said, what do you do to recharge? Like when the world is taking so much from you, and by you, I mean there's not much that you don't do. Mm-hmm. So what do you do to replenish?
I know when to fall back. There's some times where there's a lot coming at me. There's a lot of ask. People are like, can you do this? Can you do this? And sometimes they forget you got all these other things going on and they still have their needs. But I know now when to say no and when to fall back and take care of me. And that part of taking care of me is my time with God, really allowing him to guide me. And, I am one of those people who are like, okay, God, this is not supposed to happen, make sure it don't come together, or, God, I really want to be in your will. And so I'm coming to you and I'm asking you to guide my words, guide my footsteps. That is the first thing. And then, he has allowed me to have an amazing support system, friends and family, and people who are always in my corner. And so that helps me recharge. And then I love to travel.
Right. No,
I love to travel.
that's amazing. Part of the reason why I think so many of our women become so stressed is because they're burnt out.
Oh yeah.
They juggle so many hats. It's like I wear this. I'm the mom, the parent. This I got all these different things going on, and I'm trying to be 100% at them all. So I think self-care is very important.
It is. It's very important. And so when I go and talk to women and even men, but I feel like women, we were built to be able to do a lot of things at the same time. Sometimes we do get burnt out. Sometimes we say yes, 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 and we're trying to be mom and daughter and all these different things, and we don't take care of ourselves. And so I like to tell people, they say when you're on a plane, before you help your child, before you help the person next door, put the mask on yourself. You have to take care of yourself, because if not, you have nothing to give that person, because you're done. So, it's really important for us to take that, you got to take care of yourself.
So let me give you a little bit of pushback. What happens when a person feel like they're being, like some people that might feel like, am I being selfish for wanting to take care of me? How do you talk to the women? Because that's a big concern for a lot of women. They're like, I don't know how to put me first. I don't know. What would you say to them?
I would say it's absolutely not selfish to take care of yourself. And I know that it could seem that way when you have a lot of people coming at you, but it's really necessary. It's really important that you be filled, your cup be filled, so you have something to pour into somebody else.
Right.
If you are empty, you don't know how to take time for yourself, you are coming from an empty cup. And after a while, there is dry and there's nothing there. So how can you be what you need to be for other people if you're not that for yourself?
That makes sense. That makes total sense. Shifting gears a little bit. Who do you look up to? Like, is there any woman in your life or in your journey that you might have looked up to and you might have gotten inspiration from? Because I can imagine people looking at you for inspiration.
Yeah.
So who do you look up to?
Oh goodness, there's a village of people that I admire. My mother being one of the strongest women that I've ever met. Her ability to love, her ability to love. Now that will get me emotional. Her ability to love is just something to behold, and so that has given me the ability to just be very loving and caring and being a servant and loving outreach because of my mother. And she put me in the position to have spiritual grandmothers and spiritual aunts that really just cultivated my love for life, for outreach, for ministry. I've been blessed. I have a lot of great sisters and aunties that in the city of Philadelphia and surrounding that really support me.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your singing and your because I love your music. Your music is very inspirational, so and I didn't know that you actually sing. We was doing an event and you was actually one of the performers, and I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't know. So it was a pleasant surprise. It was a real pleasant surprise. So let's talk about your music. What was your inspiration of your music?
Well, I would say God is always the inspiration. And Him being love, is always the foundation, for the music, but it definitely came from, being inspired by my father, and him being a singer and people, watching him. And then I just started to see that when I sang, people responded to it. People were happy or people got emotional. And so I realized that I had something there and started to develop as an artist. Who am I as an artist? What do I want to talk about? Who am I trying to speak to? And so once I got that, then I was able to realize that I am an inspirational singer. I am at the heart of me, I love God. And so it's always going to be in the foundation of my music. But I love to sing about empowerment and real love between a man and a woman. I love to sing about women's empowerment and just how to overcome issues. So that's what my music is always going to be about. You're going to hear, some really good beats because I love to make sure that I, have some good stuff going on, but I wanted to have a message. So some of my songs are literally just affirmation songs. Like I'm just literally every line is an affirmation. And then there's some where we're getting into some really, tough topics. And I don't mind going there. I don't mind talking about it.
I think that for the Black community and for men talking to women, women talking to men. I think tough conversations are very necessary. I think part of the reason to why we are where we at as in a community is because we started to gloss over topics that which we need to address.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what can us as men, myself as a man, with a platform, what can we do to soften the load of the Black woman?
That's a really good question. Soften the load, I would say be supportive and always show your strength, but know the measure that each woman might need. Every woman is different. Okay. And some of us are super independent, but we still appreciate the masculinity of a man. We appreciate a man, being chivalrous, but knowing that there's a balance to that. So I would say, one, don't approach every woman the same.
Okay.
We're all very different, but giving us our room to be feminine, to be creative, to be smart. So making room for that, and this platform, allows the woman to really show who she is and all of her beauty, and then be vulnerable. So, and then, I feel like as a man, still be that protector. And sometimes that protector is just being a presence, and sometimes it's saying, you got this.
Right. Okay. That's beautiful, and I appreciate that. A little bit of pushback. As a man, sometimes it's very hard to be vulnerable. Sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable with our sisters because if we're gonna be honest, some of that vulnerability get thrown in our face, and it get taken as for weakness.
Yeah.
So what can we do, or what as a man? And I'm asking you.
Yeah.
How can we stop that? Like, what can we do to stop that division between us?
Yeah, there's work that needs to be done on both sides. And so, I feel like because some women had to be the man, they or feel like they had to be put in a position where they had to be the protector, the provider. They have developed, a sense of like, well, that shows weakness because I had to do this, so man up type of thing. And so there is definitely a balance that needs to come back into our communities.
Right.
And it does take work. I would say that if you are a man and you're trying to be vulnerable with the woman in your life, I would be transparent enough to say, listen, I'm trusting you with this. I don't let my guard down for everyone. So it means you're special, and I need you to protect this that we have.
Right.
And then lead with that, because I would believe a real woman would be able to say, okay, he's telling me something that now, as long as you're not playing nobody, he's telling me something that he don't tell everyone, and he's letting his guard down. I have the choice now to protect that and to let him, be vulnerable, or I can, walk in some other stuff and lose that trust.
Right.
And so, like I said, there's work to be done on both sides. I think that women, we need to listen because our men do want to talk, and men, keep trying, don't stop trying.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Switching gears just a little bit, I want to talk to the little girls, right? To those women that are coming behind us. I think it's important for us who sit in these seats to take the responsibility of understanding that there are people that will be coming behind us.
Yeah.
So what do you say to the little girl that may be lost, that may be not feeling her best self, and have you ever been in that space yourself?
Yeah, okay, so that's a twofold question for me, a little loaded. So let me take the first part. To the little girl who is listening and going through something, I would say you got this, but also choose who you want to be and be it. So if you want to be strong, be strong. If you want to be brave, be brave. If you want to be different than you were yesterday, you can do that. There's no limitations, and there's no rule that says you can't start over. And so for those who are feeling like, oh, well, I should have been doing this, in high school, now I'm in college and I can't, you can still. I know people who are 70 years old getting their degrees.
Right.
And so just know that there is help out there. I am an advocate, because it's not easy when you're a leader. It's not easy when you are strong to ask for help. But when you're feeling vulnerable, when you're feeling like you need something that you don't have, ask for help.
Great. And that's good confirmation for me as well, because I have a little girl, and one of the things I tell her every day is that you got to choose who you want to be.
Yeah.
I say, now I'm a little tough with my approach. I'm like, baby girl, do you want to be the shark or the goldfish? Which one do you want? And you got to choose.
Yeah.
And I say, you got to understand, when you choose the shark, there's a lot of people, coming behind you that want that position.
Yeah.
And with great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure was that a Bible verse. I don't think that was a Bible verse.
I'm not sure. We got to look that one up.
Please tell me a little bit about the book.
Oh,
Uncaged.
So I do have an EP, and so the EP is entitled Uncaged as well. And so one of the songs on there talks about being free and living a life uncaged. And so that song was inspired by this book, and this book was inspired by a lot of the things that I went through, but specifically a 3-year toxic relationship that I went through that really just changed the trajectory of my life, because I was always a leader, always had stuff going on. I was already educated in all those things, but I found myself in a position where I came across somebody I just was not prepared for. I was not prepared for someone like that intentionally came to deceive me. And so I had to learn a lot of lessons very, very quickly. And because I was already singing, I started to feel like he was trying to silence me as a singer, as a woman, as a minister of music. And I started to feel like I was a caged bird. And I used to be called the songbird. Some people still call me that, the songbird of South Jersey. And so I felt like I was a caged songbird. I felt like people could see me, but they couldn't see that there were invisible bars holding me from really being who I wanted to be during that 3 years. And so once I came to realize I had to get out, it was either me or me. Like, it was either going to be that, this person takes me out spiritually, or naturally there was a lot of things that transpired in that relationship. Either I let that overtake me or I get out. And once I decided to get out, it was steps that I took to heal. And they were all given to me by God. I believe he gave me a play-by-play, do this, do this, do this. At that time, I didn't know it was a book. But once I got out of it, I was like, okay, I did this. These are instructions on how to get over trauma. And I believe I was able to get over my trauma much quicker than, some other people, because I had these steps. And so I felt like it was my responsibility to share those steps with other people. So it's a very practical guide. It's not, you're going to dive a little bit into my story, but the purpose of this book was to be very practical and give people steps to get out of their situation and start living the life they want.
No, beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. With that being said, can you please tell people where to find your music, where to find the book, what's your next engagement? How can we support you?
Wow. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to be on this platform. You can go to saysomethinggoodllc.com. That is my website where you will see my music. You will see the things that are coming up as far as life coaching. There's an opportunity for you to call me if you would like to get some support in just your journey in life. And I also am really, really big on Instagram. So you can go to Lavonne Nicholos on Instagram. My music is on all digital platforms, even TikTok. So you can share the songs on TikTok or Instagram. And I would love to connect with people.
This is the Future is Female podcast. I'm Zachary King. Peace.